A very good morning, distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, heads of state, governments, business leaders, investors, entrepreneurs, members of the diaspora, civil society, and of course the media. Welcome. We're also glad you're here with us today, and we know you're going to have a very enjoyable day. We're also live streaming on the web, particularly on the YouTube channel UK Africa Investment Summit 2020, and we'd appreciate it if you shared your experiences today using the hashtag #InvestInAfrica. Today is about Africa, and today is about shared prosperity for Africa. And so without further ado, join me in watching our opening video. Thank you. We are making profits, we are serving our customers with quality food, and also giving back to society.
We've actually contributed to about 5% of brand electrification.
The potential for clean energy is huge in Nigeria.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Well, heads of state, heads of government, business leaders, friends, good morning to you all, and a very warm welcome to London, to the UK, and to a new start in our business partnership between my country and your countries, and indeed the whole continent of Africa. I am reliably informed that this is the very first time that the UK and quite so many African nations have come together for an event of this kind. And when we celebrate all sorts of exciting new beginnings, start of a new year, a new decade, new government here in Britain, it is an event whose time has come, and indeed an event that is long overdue. An event that I regard as the climax of considerable personal exertions. Because during my 2 years as Foreign Secretary, I visited more African nations than any other senior British politician in living memory. Ghana, the Gambia, Libya, Liberia, Uganda, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Somalia, Kenya, Egypt, Ethiopia, where in a fit of brilliance, our excellent ambassador decided that I should challenge Haile Gebrselassie to a running race in Addis Ababa at an altitude of 2,355 meters in fierce sunshine over a distance of about a mile. And I had to pretend to have a heart attack in order to get him to slow down. And what everybody said was a very convincing impersonation of a man having a heart attack. And wherever I went in Africa, I found a lot of interest, I'm proud to say a lot of affection for the UK, even a lot of love. But I also realized that we in the UK had a vital job in continuing to convince people across the continent that we're not just a great friend, an ally, a reliable ally, but also the people you should be doing business with. We have no divine right to that business. This is a competitive world. You have many suitors. Some of you may be off shortly to sample the delights of Davos. But look today at what we have to offer. Look around the world today, and you will swiftly see that the UK is not only the obvious partner of choice, we're also very much the partner of today, of tomorrow, and decades to come. Because the truth is that in 2020, the UK is the ultimate one-stop shop for the ambitious, growing international economy. If you want investment in a new project or enterprise, just hop on the tube, one stop from here, and you'll be in the heart of Canary Wharf, where, along with its older sibling in the City of London, trillions of pounds of capital are being raised for every venture you can think of, from French construction to African telecoms to American cancer-curing drugs. In every currency that you've heard of, and some that have only been recently invented. It may give you some idea of the scale of the financial services in London when I say that Canary Wharf alone is a bigger banking centre than the whole of Frankfurt. We have the tech. We have edtech, midtech, fintech, biotech, green tech, nanotech, tech of all kinds. We have by far the biggest tech sector anywhere in this hemisphere, 2 or 3 times bigger than any of our rivals. And that works in synergy, of course, with our amazing higher education sector. We have more of the world's top universities than any other country outside the United States every year. Thanks to our Achieving and Commonwealth scholarships, their doors are opened to the best and brightest students from every part of Africa. And I'm proud to say today that 1 in 7 of the world's kings, queens, presidents, prime ministers were educated in this country, including the Japanese emperor, We have a total global monopoly on the higher education of emperors. And thank you. It's true. And if you want to come here to study in those universities, if you want to play a part in the high-tech revolution, if you want to work with the titans of our financial world, then you'll be pleased to hear, my friends, that one thing is changing: our immigration system. I know it's an issue that people have raised with me in the past, but change is coming, and our system is becoming fairer and more equal as between all our global friends and partners, treating people the same wherever they come from. And by putting people before passports, we will be able to attract the best talent from around the world, wherever they may be. Because I appreciate, as I say, that there is no shortage of governments out there touting for your business. China, I mustn't mention competition, but I better. I mean, why not? China, Russia, Germany. I'm told there's going to be a conference in France fairly soon. But in the words of an old Akan proverb that I picked up in Ghana, all fingers are not the same. There's wisdom in these Akan proverbs. All fingers are not the same, and all countries are not the same. And the UK boasts a breadth and a depth of expertise that simply cannot be matched by any other nation. And that's why we are one of the biggest partners for countries across Africa. Look at the billions of pounds worth of the deals that are being finalised just here today and that we're announcing. The monorail trains that will shortly be conveying citizens through the streets of Cairo, that great and growing city, will be made here. The monorail trains will be made here in the UK, in Derby. In Nigeria's Oyo state, every street light is being installed with low-carbon, high-efficiency, low-emission diodes from Dorset. I had no idea they made these things at Dorset. There you go. Families across Angola will shortly be tucking into delicious, wholesome chicken from Northern Ireland. Thousands of tons, millions of birds. For millions of years, the birds of this country have flown south to Africa for the winter. But it's thanks to the miracle of free trade that today our birds go plucked, frozen, oven ready. And at the same time, of course, people, and I think Uhuru Kenyatta asked me this question, the BA planes going the other way are sometimes quite chilly. A point that the President of Kenya raised with me, and I made representations on his behalf. And one of the reasons may be that the holds of those planes are full, each of them with 13 tons of sliced and refrigerated fruit coming to the supermarkets of the UK. And of course, we want to build a new future as a global free trading nation. That's what we're doing now. That's what we'll be embarking on the 31st of January this month. But I want to intensify and expand that trade in ways that go far beyond what we sell you or you sell us. We want to go far beyond that. Though I have just told President Museveni of Uganda that his beef cattle will have an honoured place on the tables of post-Brexit Britain. I want to go beyond. Yes, he's very proud of them, and quite rightly. I want to go beyond that, because what I'm really talking about is building a partnership that benefits all of us. And it's about synergies and partnerships. And it means things like Diageo, spending £167 million to make its East African breweries as clean, efficient, and sustainable as possible through biomass, solar power, water recovery, and purification. It means encouraging people like Lolade Orisonwe. Born in Nigeria, Lolade came to the UK to study at one of our many world-leading higher education institutions. So, armed with an MBA, she headed back to Lagos, and in 2014 helped set up what is now the region's biggest waste processing operation, West Africa ENRG. Every day, yeah, let's hear it for Lolade. Every day, her team scoop up 2,000 tons of rubbish destined for landfill. They sift out the stuff that can be recycled, and then very soon they're going to start using the rest to generate clean electricity for schools and hospitals. And the whole thing is run using mostly British-made equipment, because even if I say it myself, it's the best in the world, and it's backed by UK investors with ongoing research and development support from Lolade's alma mater, Cranfield University. So, Lolade and her team make the local streets cleaner and the global environment greener. They've created 3,000 jobs in Nigeria, the vast majority of them for women. They help keep the order books full for British manufacturers, and the whole operation provides a tidy return for investors both in Nigeria and in the UK. And it's a great example of what the modern UK-Africa partnership looks like. An exchange of ideas, equipment, and finance to solve common problems. A relationship that benefits us all and makes a lasting difference. And the same is true of the UK government's £53 million investment at the port of Mombasa, a serious, commercially minded development like many other of our overseas investments in Africa. But rather than being arranged on extraordinarily one-sided terms and delivered by a vast imported workforce, without wishing to cast aspersions on any other potential partner, it was a sustainable deal that created jobs for ordinary Kenyans now and in the future. And it was made all the easier for British businesses to work with and trade with their Kenyan counterparts and vice versa. I'm told that, probably partly as a result of what's going on in Mombasa, half of all the tea drunk in the UK comes to us from Kenya. Think of that. Britain without a nice cup of tea is barely worth thinking about. And that means Britain without Kenya is barely worth thinking about. Literally sustained, kept sane and rational throughout the day by infusions of Kenyan supply tea. Even if it doesn't originate in Kenya, it comes through Kenya, if you see what I mean. Got to be careful about that. And it's the sustainable, forward-thinking nature of that investment in Mombasa that marks us out, I would say, as different from the global crowd. And that kind of sustainable thinking applies to our shared environment every bit as much as it does to our common business interests. Climate change and loss of biodiversity are issues that affect us all. I know that many of your countries are already on the front line in the fight against both. And I look forward to seeing many of you again when the UK hosts COP26 in Glasgow later this year. And of course, one of the many reasons we were chosen to host COP26 was the incredible speed with which we have cleaned up our domestic energy industry. A decade ago, we were the most carbon-heavy nation in Europe, one of the most carbon-heavy nations in Europe. Today, we're a world leader in offshore wind. We regularly generate more of our electricity from renewables than from fossil fuels, regularly. And we have almost entirely weaned ourselves off coal. But there's no point in the UK reducing the amount of coal we burn if we then trundle over to Africa and line our pockets by encouraging African states to use more of it. Is there? We all breathe the same air, we live beneath the same sky, we all suffer when carbon emissions rise and the planet warms. So from today, the British government will no longer provide any new direct official development assistance, investment, export credit or trade promotion for thermal coal mining or coal power plants overseas. To put it simply, not another penny of UK taxpayers' money will be directly invested in digging up coal or burning it for electricity. And instead, we're going to focus on supporting the transition to lower and zero carbon alternatives. First, by helping you to extract and use oil and gas in the cleanest, greenest way possible, and we're world leaders in that and have much to share, but also by turbocharging, if turbocharging is a word I can use in the context of low carbon energy technology, our support for solar and wind and hydro and all the other carbon-free sources of energy that surround us and are just waiting to be harnessed. I can't say turbocharging, what kind of thing? We're going to deliver an electroconvulsive lightning bolt through our renewables energy industry. That process is already underway because a whole host of British companies are already working with national governments across Africa and around the world to increase renewable capacity. And there's a huge myth about this. People say that you've got to choose between reducing emissions and raising economic growth. And look at what happened here in the UK. Actually, we have cut CO2 emissions by 42% since 1990, and yet GDP has gone up by 67%. And we stand ready to help you do the same, tackling the causes of climate change while also delivering the power needed to unlock the potential of all our people. And what an incredible potential that is. Africa is a continent of amazing, independent, and diverse nations, but you have some things in common, clearly. Some of you members of the Commonwealth, 19 members of the Commonwealth, look forward to the summit in Kigali. But one thing that unites African countries is ambition and optimism, and, by comparison with much of the rest of the world, quite staggering levels of growth. More than half the world's 15 fastest growing economies are in Africa. 2/3 of African economies are expanding faster than the global average. Africa is the future, and the UK has a huge and active role to play in that future. And I hope you agree. Because we are and we will be a partner, your partner, through thick and thin. Our universities are helping to educate the next generation of African entrepreneurs. We're helping to provide security, as I've seen myself, in Somalia, South Sudan, the Sahel, and beyond. Our businesses, our investors, our entrepreneurs, our mind-bogglingly innovative financial services sector are helping Africans from Casablanca to Cape Town to face the future with confidence. Today, here in London, here in this fantastic hotel, which I think I gave planning permission for, in the days when I was, a lot of the stuff you see around, I think I helped to build, I'm proud to say. This fantastic city, we are bringing together leaders of nations and businesses, and I hope that this meeting will serve as a great cyclotron of talent in which ideas and people will come together and spark some flash of creativity. And at the start of this new decade, we, the UK and your nations, are taking the first steps on the road to a new partnership between all our people. And like whatever the apparent differences in our skill sets and our abilities and the complementarity, like me and Haile Gebrselassie, trundling around the streets of Addis Ababa, we want to be with you side by side every step of the way. So let's seize the opportunities that are before us here today. Let's build the partnership for the future. And together, let us write the next chapter for my country, for your country, and above all, for all the peoples of our countries. Thank you all very much for coming, and welcome to London. Thank you.